Hello everyone, welcome back to Castle Goring, chatting with Lady C. Hello Georgie, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Leo. And how are you?
I'm great, thank you, as always.
Oh, good. So, what do you have on offer for us today?
Well, three things. What should we start? The first one is, there is question. Do you know about the Brian Mulroney and Airbus affair? And as well about the Jessica Mulroney being fired.
Okay, well, we're starting controversially, I see. Okay.
Turbulent with Airbus.
Turbulent, yes. Brian Mulroney was the Prime Minister of Canada.
Yes.
He was a Conservative Prime Minister of Canada. And he got caught up in really what I suppose you could call a backhand scandal with the Germans over Airbus. And it trundled on throughout, I think it trundled on for several years. And the Canadian Mounted Police came to the conclusion after extensive inquiries that there might have been some, shall we say, massaging, but he managed to explain it away just enough to keep himself from being charged with any offence. I think it actually impacted adversely upon his reputation. It's quite intricate and involved, and I don't want to go into it any more deeply than that. If people want to read about it, they can read about it on the internet. Now, insofar as his daughter-in-law, Jessica Mulroney, is concerned, she has recently been caught up in the Black Lives Matter scandal, in that she has been dismissed from her television show and whatever else because she has been caught apparently threatening a colleague of hers who is black and who asked her to just generally support the Black Lives Matter movement. And her response was very negative, and to effectively threaten this unfortunate girl, saying that she effectively was going to be, that she had been or was going to be talking to all of her employers, etc., etc. I think there's a common thread between father-in-law and daughter-in-law, and it's called influence. It's called abuse of influence. It's called abuse of power. It's called abuse of position. It's basically people in positions of some privilege or authority using the power they have to benefit themselves in unacceptable ways, and or to silence or muzzle or cause trouble for people who really should not, you should actually be supporting. Because as you will recall, when all of this started, and I don't know anything about the internet and Twitter and all the rest of it, and Misha came upstairs and said to me from his flat that he, that there was this black screen thing, I think is what it was called, or whatever it was called. I mean, I'm so ignorant on all of this. And that, he told me about it. And of course, I was happy to step up to the plate and show solidarity for a movement that has much to recommend it. And I just am mystified that Jessica Mulroney, who has traded very heavily on the fact that she is Meghan Markle's friend and that Meghan Markle has been subjected to such racist abuse, which is completely untrue, incidentally. And Jessica Mulroney even tried to apply pressure on Meghan Markle's former business manager in England so that Gina Nelthorpe-Cowan would be positive about Meghan Markle. In fact, that Gina Nelthorpe-Cowan would clean up the truth and tell a few lies about Meghan Markle. And so she's quite adept at using her influence as and when it suits her and when it suits her friends. And then when there's nothing to be gained for her personally, she quite plainly issues threats and threatens the careers of people who are simply inviting her support. Very odd, the whole thing, very odd, and really rather hypocritical, and really rather unfortunate. It's that she would have behaved like this, but she did. And she is suffering the consequences of her actions. And I feel it's very unfortunate that she is finding that actions have consequences. But those of us who live in the real world and who have always lived in the real world know that actions have consequences. I think Jessica Mulroney is very lucky to be batting 40 or 45 or whatever she's batting, and she's just discovered that effectively you don't threaten colleagues and get away with it. She's lucky. She's lucky that it's taken her that long to learn the lesson.
So the next question is related to Meghan again, and it's
so
are you aware that...
I suppose it's topical, so
yeah,
we can endure it for the moment.
Yes. So are you aware that Meghan Markle's team posting on internet that she was or she's transsexual?
Well, my dear, what can I say?
Funny question.
Sorry.
No, I know. When I discovered this, but it's many questions regarding to this topic in the comments, so I was as well a bit confused.
Well, there's no barrel so deep that Meghan's team won't scrape the bottom of it.
Yes.
I was not aware. I'm actually very amused by the whole thing. I don't think it takes great genius to figure out that if they're posting this, it is to gain her sympathy, because they were previously posting that I was transsexual and that I had lied to my husband about my upbringing, when of course I had not lied to my husband about my upbringing, and they had hijacked the whole really rather unfortunate scenario. So I suppose they're now deciding that, well, it worked for Lady C, it managed to get her a degree of sympathy and support, let's try it for Megs.
Yes.
Well, what can I say, The whole thing's farcical. I mean, can one take this sort of thing seriously? I suppose maybe one should take it seriously, but I'm finding it very difficult to not be completely entertained and amused by it. So I suppose maybe if I'm accused of being an axe-murderess who chops up babies and eats their liver 3 times a week, Meghan's team will then be saying she's an axe-murderess who chops up babies and eats their livers 4 times a week.
Yes.
I mean, really, I'm sorry, sorry, I can't stop laughing. Sorry. Let's go on to the next question. But I think you better turn that off for a second because I'm not going to be able to stop laughing. So just turn it off. So the next question.
Well, the next question is not really the question, it's the topic, which I think need to be discussed, and which is, for me personally, very upsetting and awkward, because I didn't expect that I should, talk about me and my family in this show.
Can I relieve you of the burden of what? Yes, I'm very happy to relieve you of the burden and ask the question.
Okay.
Okay. I'm usurping your
Such
role.
an honor. Are you asking me the question?
Thank you, darling. I'm usurping your role.
Okay.
I'm showing Meg's team what it's like to be a thief of not only reputations, but now of positions. I'm going to steal your position. Yes, it is. There have been a lot of very unfortunate comments and some questions asked about your basically suggesting that you're a fraud and that you're a phony prince.
Yes.
So first of all, they had me as a fraud and a phony a few weeks ago. Now they have you as a fraud and a phony.
Yes.
Which
my
is
turn now.
yeah, your turn now, because having trashed me and not succeeded with getting away with it, they're now going to trash you and hope they're going to get away with it. Well, they're not going to get away with it, because you and I have been the proponent in all of this, and I have gathered the evidence and I have asked you what X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, because I'm not putting up with having you and your family traduced by these absolute fraudsters, liars, propagandists, and jerks.
No, because this is open attack on my family.
Yes.
And for these people, they're not maybe so well educated about the history of Austrian Empire and all of these things, what was going on there. But many members of my family gave their lives for the empire and for the other people to save them, in the wars. And now somebody will, trash them for nothing.
If I'm not mistaken, one of your ancestors was decorated by the Empress Maria Theresa for really stopping the Ottoman Empire advance into Austrian territory. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Where was it? 1744, was it?
No, that was later, and there was few of them. So there was from 1560s until the late 1700s. So there was not just one ancestor; it was few of them. But 3 of them are very well known.
Give us their names right now, Leo.
Yes.
We're going to just knock this nail on the head.
Yes.
The way I knocked the rubbish the other day about my past. Let's knock yours.
Yes.
Okay, so the 3 names of the 3 ancestors
with
their ranks.
So the first one, it was Anthony, and he was in the battle against the Ottomans. And
Anthony what?
Von Breithen-Thurn.
Yes. And what was his rank?
He in the military or in the
both.
He was the prince. So
yes.
Knez in Croatian, and then he was the leader of the regiment. In the Lika, it's part of Croatia, and there was the battle in 1560s near Zadar. It's a city.
Okay, so that's the first one. I don't think we want to burden people with too much history.
Yes,
because
the most famous one was Thomas.
That was number 2 or 3.
Yes. No, he was the second one. Yes.
Okay, so number 2.
Number 2.
Yes.
So the Thomas, he is the most successful one.
In full name, full title.
So the most successful one was the Prince Thomas von Breithen-Thurn. He was the commander of the Lika Regiment army, and he was commander of the Austrian Imperial Army in the battles against Frederick the Great and for the Bavarian Succession War, in Germany. And there was very famous battle near Nikolsberg when he captured the princes of Saxe-Coburg und Gotha and their commander of the Life Guards, von Bellegatte. So he captured them, and they had negotiations, of course, and the Empress ordered them to...
Speak to the people, don't bother to speak to me.
So the Empress held negotiations with them, and then after she ordered Thomas to release them because they make agreement. But if the Thomas killed them, back in the history, will not have then the Prince Albert, the husband of the Queen Victoria.
Okay. So what year was that?
31st July, 1778.
1778.
1778.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, we've done 2. So now we don't need to do all 3.
Yes.
Because I'm sure everybody has got the message. Leo, I worked out a formula with you, and I'd like to see the first of the documents.
Yes, the first one, it's the regarding...
Don't bother to tell me, I'll tell people what it is. Thank you very much. The first one is a contemporary document. It is from Croatia. It is a proper document, apostilled, and it shows it's relating to the agrément du titre de noblesse de Leo von Breithen-Thurn, and it has here Leo Prince von Breithen-Thurn. So that is dated the 13th of September 2017.
Yes.
Okay. Next document, please, Leo.
Yes, the next one.
And I make the point to everybody that although Croatia is a republic and they no longer have titles, the fact that certain families in Croatia used to have titles is acknowledged as a historical fact. So, next question. Sorry, next document, please, Leo.
Yes, so the next one, it's regarding recognition the title in the other monarchies.
And
the request. And it's showing the examples of other families who got recognized.
And this document was for, is this from Croatia as well?
Yeah, it's from Croatia.
Well, then we've already, okay. Anyway, this document is a request for Leo's title to be recognized in Belgium, where he was living before he got trapped in England. And it says very clearly here, Prince von Breithen-Thurn. That's one. It also says again, Le Prince Leo von Breithen-Thurn. And then it asks for the authorization and privilege to use his noble title. And down here it says, to make it even clearer, Son Altesse Serenissime, Le Prince Leo von Breithen-Thurn, meaning His Serene Highness Prince Leo von Breithen-Thurn, and it is addressed for the Belgian court. That's number 2.
Yes.
Let's get to number 3 now. Let's nail these buggers.
Official document from the court in Zagreb.
We don't need this.
It's certificate which saying that I don't have prosecution, and there is 2 for regarding my princely title to be recognized.
Okay.
It's mentioning my princely title.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so there we have it. Leo said it. This is number 3. is then spinning around and asking for his title as Son titre de Prince, etc., etc., to be used in the Kingdom of Belgium. That's number 3.
Yes. And then we have...
Quite frankly, my dears, I have to tell you, it is really odious that we have to be subjected to such abuse and have to address such issues. But really, it's very undignified to have to address an issue like this. But ultimately, you have a choice, as I discovered for over many years of being traduced. You ignore it and the lies persist, or you ultimately step down off your high horse and say, this is the proof, and then all right-thinking people know it's a lie. Otherwise, right-thinking people might think it's the truth, which is very, very unfortunate. Anyway, yes. Next one is what?
That I'm not married.
Oh, no. The really important thing in this one isn't that you're not married.
Yes.
It is that the princes of Breithen-Thurn they have a series of surnames. In most aristocratic families, you'll have 1 or 2 surnames and the title is something different. For instance, my father-in-law was born Ian Campbell, and all Dukes of Argyll are Campbells. And then as you go through the peerage, you have different titles in different stages. For instance, a friend of mine, she has had 3 surnames and she's only been married to 1 man, because she was first of all Lady X, then she was the Marchioness of Y, and now she's the Duchess of Z. So it's perfectly standard. Anybody who knows anything about the aristocracy will know that surnames don't necessarily match up to titles, and in fact, they usually don't.
And what's interesting thing, where it's very rare today, that I'm coming from both sides of my father and mother sides are with a princely background. So I cannot be more clear-blooded.
This again is an official document from the Croatian state, and it says very clearly that Leo's surname is von Breithen-Thurn, but his father's surname is Novosel. Now, we don't want to get into too complicated as to how once the father has a different surname from the son. People who are familiar with titles will know that this is quite standard. But what I would now like to show is and it's also inaccurate, by the way, the Wikipedia entry for which is very clear. It says, and Leo will, I think, have to post this on over and above my hand. But it says the princely house of Novosel, and it shows both Novosel and Breithen-Thurn. Also, it says on Wikipedia that they are princes of Croatia, which is not accurate. Wikipedia, I have to tell you, is notoriously inaccurate about many things. I mean, my Wikipedia entry, for instance, is a joke and a farce, but I prefer to not get into that now. And they say, in terms of the Novosel family, that they are princes of Croatia. They are not princes of Croatia, they are Croatian princes. If you are a prince of Croatia, that means you are a member of the royal family of Croatia. The royal family of Croatia was the Habsburg-Lorraine family.
Yes.
So They are not princes of Croatia because they are mere aristocrats. And since you're a mere aristocrat, you can just pack your bags and go right now. Don't intend to be having just a mere aristocrat as a house guest. If you're not royal, you can leave right now.
No. Okay.
Mickey says she doesn't like hearing that. So anyway, so that's anything else?
Yes. I have the family tree as well from the Breithen-Thurn side.
Okay.
So it's showing Nicola Knez, so it's Prince.
Okay.
And this is from the year 1662.
Okay, so Knez is Prince in Croatia. Okay,
yes, when you translate.
Okay, so if you could post that as well as the other thing.
Yes.
No
and
point
this is
in
whole
holding
family
it.
tree.
Well, I don't, Leo, please spare them.
Yes.
They're not that interested in the whole family tree. You know, I know aristocrats love their family trees, but the people don't care. So
well, some people care too much.
Very well. No, they have the spoilers and the despoilers and the propagandists have been very naive. You know, you're dealing with American media management who I suppose think because it happened day before yesterday, nobody has any records. You know, it's the American thing of, well, 3 weeks is a long time and 5 minutes is current, but 5 years is history, and nobody has any connection. So I think you're dealing with very naive, uneducated, ignorant people who actually thought that they would be able to get away with it. And of course, they've not been able to get away with it because we have shown absolute proof that yet again, disinformation, lies, you know. I wish we could have a little bit of sunshine that would shine some truth upon the sacks of knowledge instead of having sunshine sacks sacking the truth along with everybody's reputation, thinking that they are going to be doing a favor to their clients. I mean, it's just so tawdry.
Yes.
It is so inelegant. It is so...
Oh, but it's annoying because, you know, people who don't know me and my family or about my history, they may be now thinking, oh, it's a
fraud.
Yes,
you're a fraud. You're a phony.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's not nice. I mean, and it's not nice because it's open attack against
your whole
myself
family.
and my whole family and my ancestors.
Mm.
And they done so many things. I mean, I can talk now for an hour about who was what and which position hold and what were their role in this and that.
Mm.
So, and there still exist records in Vienna State Archives, in Zagreb State Archives, somewhere as well in Istanbul, in archives. So,
well, it's very regrettable that they have done it, and just as how I would not condescend to drag Doria Ragland into Meghan Markle's story, let's put it that way.
yes.
I think it's really rather low of Meghan Markle's team to not only have attacked me with a load of lies, but now to have attacked you with a whole load of lies. Well, very tawdry, very tawdry. But it just goes to show...
It's not a big problem because when it's true, then you don't need to be scared of anything.
Well, you're actually wrong, because many a lie has flourished, and many people don't want to believe the truth, so that's not actually true. The reason why propaganda succeeds as well as it does is that a lot of people believe the lie. I mean, it's just fortunate that we have the opportunity to speak directly to people,
yes,
and to get the message out there. Yes. I mean, you know.
And I think you're right here, because at beginning, you know, at first I said to you, no, we will not discuss this or get into this. Just let them talk whatever they want.
And your sister went ballistic.
Yeah, my sister sent me 2 voice messages.
we won't paraphrase, but I can tell you something.
Because she was reading the comments.
Like all good aristocrats, she knows when to play the sailor.
Yes. So she was more annoyed than me. She got more angry than me. But yes, I think now we resolve this matter as well.
So enough said, and let honor prevail.
Yes.
And thank you very much, Leo, for sharing all of this with us.
No problem.
And I'm really sorry that it's had to happen.
No,
but you know, we're dealing with very low down, nasty, dirty people, and there is, as I said earlier, there's no barrel so deep that they won't plumb its depths.
True.
You know? So, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for watching us again. Keep writing the questions, yes?
And now, the next one is going to be even more interesting, the next video, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you give a little taster of one of the questions?
So, one of the questions will be related to Meghan's pregnancy.
And enough said. Enough said.
Yes. Thank you very much, Georgie, for today and for your nice answers on the questions and for commenting my situation as well. I really appreciate this from you. And keep watching us and keep writing your questions in comments, and see you very soon.
And now Leo's about to be hurled out of this house since he's a mere aristocrat. If we can't have highnesses that are royal, we're not interested. Out, damn spot.
Okay, I'm going. See you later.